Hi, my name is Carrie Thomas, and this is my action research project about mindfulness in middle schools. Psychologist Alice Boyd states that some of the benefits of emotion regulation include being able to identify the specific emotions you are feeling, pursuing goals even when anxious, and being able to soothe your own emotions. These are difficult tasks for anybody, but for middle school students, they're really hard, especially when the students are also dealing with issues such as learning disabilities, ADD, ADHD, serious emotional disorders, and trauma. Due to an inability to regulate their emotions, these students often end up in the office and in trouble. Approximately 1/3 of all discipline referrals at my school are earned by students who are in special education. This problem is the basis of my action research project. The concept of mindfulness is an ancient one, rooted in Buddhism. It was introduced to modern psychology through the work of Jon Kabat-Zinn in the 1970s. Since then, there has been a significant amount of research that supports the use of mindfulness-based interventions to improve both physical and mental well-being. The literature review explores 3 themes in mindfulness research that support the rationale for this study. 1. The positive effect of mindfulness-based intervention, or MBI, on emotional regulation. 2. MBI practice with children and adolescents. And 3. Types of MBI that are appropriate for me to teach in my classroom. This led me to pose this question. Will daily mindfulness-based intervention increase emotion regulation and decrease discipline incidents? My first step was to determine which students would participate in this study. I compiled a list of all students who had discipline referrals during the current school year prior to January 15, 2020. From that list, I chose all of the 21 students who are in the special education program. I then chose a convenient sample of 12 students based on the fact that they attend my afternoon resource classes. In order to create baseline data about mindfulness awareness, I gave all students in my resource classes the Cognitive and Affective Mindfulness Scale, or CAMS. There are an additional 5 students who I also gave the CAMS who did not have discipline referrals. I chose to do this because I wanted to teach and practice MBIs with the whole class. I also plan on continuing to track the data throughout the entire school year to determine the effect MBI has on all students. The CAMS is a 12-item survey designed to gauge present levels of mindfulness awareness. Some of the statements are, it's easy for me to concentrate on what I am doing, I can tolerate emotional pain, and I am preoccupied by the future. Students rate themselves 1 through 4, 1 being rarely or not at all, and 4 being almost always. Higher numbers indicate a higher state of mindfulness. Prior to giving the CAMS, I did not give any instruction about mindfulness. Directly following the CAMS, I taught students 3 different MBIs: square breathing, 5 senses awareness, and yoga. We set aside the first 5 minutes of every class period for mindfulness practice. We did square breathing on Mondays, 5 senses awareness on Tuesdays, and yoga on Wednesdays. On Thursdays and Fridays, I let them choose which one they wanted to do, with the exception of the Friday of the first week and last week, when I had them do a 5-minute free write on the topic of mindfulness. I also gave the CAMS again on the last day of the study to assess their levels of mindfulness. The results after 5 weeks of daily mindfulness practice were interesting, and some were unexpected. I had anticipated that mindfulness awareness would increase, but it didn't. Every student's score went down, which indicated that students were more mindful prior to 5 weeks of practice. As I've pondered these results, the only explanation I can think of is that maybe students' knowledge of mindfulness increased and they rated themselves more accurately than they did the first time. Comparison of journal entries supplied qualitative data. Some of the comments from students were, I look forward to having a break for my brain. When we do mindfulness exercise, I don't worry about anything. And my favorite, I feel like I'm learning how to listen to myself. This is promising. Although discipline referral data is not conclusive, it is also promising. 2 students maintained the same amount of referrals, 4 students had no referrals, and all other students had a reduced number of referrals. MBI is a practice that can be beneficial. Current research supports this, as well as some of the initial findings of this study. Feedback from 3 students in particular, 2 with ADHD and 1 who is on the autism spectrum with a history of violent outbursts, supports my hypothesis that mindfulness practice can increase emotion regulation and decrease discipline referrals. These 3 students also had a reduced number of discipline referrals. In fact, one of them had 9 prior to MBI and 1 after. Due to the time limitations of the study, it does not represent the number of discipline referrals equally before and after MBI. In order to collect more conclusive data, this study will continue for the remainder of the school year. One of my professional goals this year was to implement strategies to increase the support of students with behavioral disorders. Mindfulness-based intervention does just that. This study aligns with my goal that is tracked and evaluated throughout the school year. By the end of the year, I will not only have data about the students I am tracking with discipline referrals, but also students who do not. I am collecting data about 2 students who have extreme social anxiety and evaluating the impact of MBI on them. My additional 3 students who do not have behavioral issues, discipline referrals, or anxiety disorders participate in all activities as well, and I am interested to see the impact of MBI on them too. The process of action research leads to more research, which is beneficial to my position as a special education teacher.